All right. I have someone here that I want to bring in that we've heard a lot about. His name has come up a lot. Maybe we can get some answers to some questions. And, he's reached out to me a little bit and kind of in the fray. We've been hearing a lot about him. So let's bring him in here. We have, let me just bring him up here. Elias joining the show. Welcome to LTL Podcast. How are you, man?
Hey, good. How are you doing, man?
Good. So we're hearing your name a lot, come up in a lot of articles, and I'm seeing you on IG. You've been reaching out to me, and I kind of want to hear what's going on. What you got going on down there in Williams and Ashfork?
Well, so this is the situation. I know Chelsea from Ocean Beach, California. We've been friends for like a year, just like more acquaintances. I know Rosie, and I know her ex-boyfriend or very recent boyfriend. I was in LA helping my mother. She's very ill. And I went to San Diego to decompress a little bit, of course. And he got a hold of me and he's like, would you come help me search for Chelsea? I'm like, absolutely, let's go. And on a whim, just went and did it and started doing some investigative research here, just like basic stuff, flyering and this and that, visiting the site, then got a little more involved when I met an Army Ranger and his medium wife. They took us in and they let us stay at their hotel and then continued to help us on the search with their Jeep and his artillery force. Cause like I said, he's a Army Ranger. So some of the areas we've been going are quite dangerous, full of very interesting people on drugs and stuff like that. It's a very vast area. I was very surprised to find that one of the first things I found out was that the Williams police were really never looking, but looking out for Chelsea. And so one of the first things I did on my way into Ashfork was notice on the side of the road some fire mitigation firefighters, a group of 20 or 30 of them. So I pulled over, gave them the information that we know. Not a single one of them have heard of the situation. So now they're out there and their whole force knows to be on the lookout. I then contacted the U.S. Rangers because I couldn't find Forest Station Road 6 on any Google or anything. And then a local brought me to that, but then found out when I hit up the U.S. Rangers, who are constantly out in the woods and doing stuff, they had also not been notified, no all points bulletin. And now just after 2 days after the disappearance or something like that, the Coconino Sheriff Department has now stated that they're pretty much completely backing out of the foot search and for a physical search. So anything civilians can do to, get the word out like you're doing, I super appreciate this. Yeah. And I was able to contact other people that she spoke to even after some of the people in the news, including one of the woodcutters. I don't think so. And also did some night reconnaissance and sent some of my drone friends out for probably like a 75-mile sweep over the past week and 3 days or so, and alerted many hunters, and then gathered some new suspicious activity that we found when someone tailed us at about 10 p.m. maybe 3 days ago. Please go ahead. You asked me some questions, man.
Well, the biggest thing for you, and I think that we've been hearing a lot about, because when we hear this kind of in the media, is we know a name PJ that has come up. We know about a GoFundMe. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Because that was a lot of, some negative press on you.
Absolutely.
And, talk to us about that. What's your relationship with? Take me back a little bit first. How did you first meet Chelsea? How did you first meet PJ? And then how did you end up in this situation? Let's talk about that first.
I first met PJ and Chelsea right around the same time, probably upwards of one of them at least a year ago, all within about a year's time. And they were together on the beach and probably hung out with them twice, together with the group of friends, just, hanging out, having a couple beers and having a fire.
Sure.
And then I actually saw PJ with Roxy, whatever you want, either way you can call her. And, I even babysat that that lizard. So I had no reason to think anything that like he's not liked by the family, and like actually he made it seem like he was dealing directly with them.
Yep.
I know at least the sister's not too particularly fond of him. Honestly, I don't think he's any kind of involved or anything, but there was no malicious intent even by him to take money from anything or exploit this whatsoever.
So then why start the $30,000 GoFundMe? You know, if you're not exploiting this, if you're saying that he's not looking to exploit any situation, then why start that?
Because he was going to use it strictly for this, and that's the honest truth.
Okay.
And would have provided any kind of thing as far as receipts or anything like that.
Okay. Do you know what his plan was to do with the? I mean, 30,000 is a lot of money, Elias.
I really know that, and he didn't have an active phone, so I allowed him to use my phone. So, I mean, I kind of got caught up in a weird predicament, but
sure.
And that's why I made the immediate apology. But he did on the whole first leg of this, I have to say 100% crowdsourced through his family and friends in Ocean Beach, enough money to get a large vehicle out here and provide food and this and that. And, you know, he was out there in the field. He was doing the thing. And that's a fact.
So have you parted? Go ahead.
Yeah, I parted ways with him just moments before I posted the video.
And what day was that, or what date was that? Do you remember?
This you can actually check the video on my. This was probably maybe 5 or 6 days ago now.
Okay.
I have not been with him.
So where are you now? What area have you been searching, and what have you been finding out through all of your, you know, searching around and talking to people? What are you hearing is the last contact that anybody's had? Have you heard anything other than law enforcement? You know, what are your leads telling you?
I only get, you know, kind of suspicious leads as there are a couple of reservoirs very near there that a large amount of very sketchy people, you know, like meth heads and possibly even people manufacture. It's a really sketchy place. If you saw it, you know what I mean. A lot of like strange little sheds and things.
Like what the heck was I going to say? What's that show? Breaking Bad, it's the kind of stuff.
Absolutely, 100% exactly like Breaking Bad, and you can. It's very, very much like that. And I was kind of warned, like especially if at night, to not go there with people that aren't armed. And one of the missions the other night, we went out and with my friend Ray, that I know from Las Vegas. He actually supported with his Jeep Wrangler and his RV trailer, and we set up like a base camp quite a bit of ways just to, you know, be able to clear our heads and stuff and then return to the site. So the other night we're out there, we had taken a wrong road, which is let's see, 124 is where you're supposed to go to find where the vehicle was. We went on another one. A rancher stopped us and he's like, this is not a way you're going to find anything. You need to turn around. This is like endless. There's like 500,000 acres of national forest back here. So we're on our way to the train trellis area that connects to Forest Station Road 6. And I notice we're getting tailed by a truck probably half mile away for about 10 minutes or so. We stopped the vehicle right in the road so that they can pass us or whatever.
Right.
And they didn't gain on us. And that's very strange. So we continue on. I pull into the road before Station Road 6 by accident because it was dark and I couldn't really see where we were. And that same truck passes us all strange. And then we continue down the road. He's like, that truck just saw us and he just got a, you know, like chills down his spine. We continued down the road about 2 miles and then turn into the actual place that her vehicle was found. And that truck was there running with a man inside of it under a tree near the train trellis on 6.
Interesting.
Which I found to be highly suspect. And the mannerisms that the man displayed once we turned around, I didn't have time to quickly pull out my phone, but it was like Late 90s, early thousands, maybe Toyota Tacoma, big tires, and a brand new temporary plate. And when we pass a man, especially in the middle of the night, in the middle of nowhere like that, we caught a very good glimpse of the person. He didn't turn his head to the right, to look away from us, but he also didn't like turn his head to acknowledge us. He just kind of stared straight because when we turned around, he was directly in the headlights. And this man was probably 6'1", pretty hefty mustache, dark colored. Couldn't really decipher the color of his skin, but he was a big, bulky man, probably not fat, but muscular, kind of like a construction worker's build.
Yep.
And so we get out of there and burn some dust, go down the road, and we're kind of scared shitless. I'm not,
Right.
like I said, we're not carrying weapons or anything like that.
Right.
So then we have to make this decision. Do we go back and try to get a picture of him?
Right.
And then sat there and pondered that for about 5 or 10 minutes. And we're like, all right, just pull into the end because your vehicle's faster than his. If we have to drive away quickly, we can, but I'll keep the video going. I have the video of that, by the way.
Yeah.
And
Send that to
I
me.
said, I'll send you anything I got. So
Cool.
I go to him and I'm like, so one thing, bro, he was following us from the Ash Fork way. There's only one way to Williams. If he's not there when we turn around, this is super sketchy and this is probably some serious lead. We turn around, pull into the spot, and the dude's gone.
Wow.
So I've notified the Coconino Sheriff Department and locals and anybody I see out in the field on ATVs and side-by-sides and stuff.
Yeah.
And I show pictures of Chelsea's search. I tell them anything I can and proceed with caution.
So where are you now? Are you in Williams or Ashford? Like, where are you located
I'm in
now?
Sedona at the moment, to be honest. So I came here on a lead from a bartender named Jackie that works at one of the main watering holes
Right.
to meet up with somebody that's actually not going back to work until Sunday. So I kind of missed them, but I'll say a couple of the people I'm talking to are mediums, and I'm not going to be opposed to taking those routes if there's not too much effort.
Right.
Because even the family's private investigators used a medium's tip as some new information. So I'm just doing the best I can.
Are you from in and around that area? Like, where are you from?
I'm from New York originally, but I've relocated to the West Coast because, like I said before, my mother's quite ill in Los Angeles with a pretty shitty disease that
Sorry to hear that, man.
Not curable. That's a whole different story. But
so I have if you don't mind, if I can take some questions from the audience. They have some questions for you. Do you know if the FBI is involved in the case?
So I'm hearing that there will be talks to the FBI within the next 24 hours. That's the knowledge I get. I can't really disclose where it's coming from. I was asked not to.
Sure.
But yes, people are contacting the FBI very shortly here.
Okay.
I don't know if they already have. I can't confirm that.
Sure. Another question. Was she skilled in outdoor types of stuff, like being able to survive outdoors? Do you know that?
Yes, she is, and I do know that for a fact.
Okay.
She hikes and everything, and I mean, she's a pretty smart woman.
Okay. Let me see if I have any more questions here. Tsunami's asking, have they tried using the spirit box for clues yet?
No, but that's something that has been mentioned to me, to be honest. I'd like to give their names, but I don't have permission to. But right here in Sedona, 2 mediums have been contacted via another medium in Williams. That's a 40-year friend of one of them, and we had a very deeply beautiful and good prayer and like a moment with a group of people, sending our intentions out to Chelsea and everything like that.
Sure.
So I just thought that was a really special lead. And, these are upstanding citizens in the community that work at some of the places that everybody frequents here.
So VC, I don't know if you've heard of Yolanda Miller, and they're asking, do you think that there's any similarities between Yolanda Miller's case of Sedona last year? I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I'm lightly familiar with that, and that's still unsolved, correct?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Well, one of the most unfortunate things about anything is, quite honestly, this area and that area over there is it's a very well known for human trafficking and things of the sort, and there's a very dark set of colors of people that are in the area involved with it.
What do
That's
you
what I
think
can say about
happened?
it. What's that?
What do you think happened? What's, when you're investigating and you've been out there, you've been kind of boots on the ground and kind of putting things together, and you've been out there, so
Yeah.
you've seen the area, her, you know it.
Yeah, and she's a
What do
very
you
free spirited person that would, hang out with anybody that seems trustworthy. But also, I don't think this hasn't been said nationally yet, but from close friends, it had been mentioned that she really wanted to start a whole new life and this, that, and the other thing, and actually even mentioned potentially going to Mexico. So
Interesting.
if you haven't heard about that on the news and that hasn't leaked out, I'll be the first to tell you, and that comes from a horse's mouth. And multiple friends could probably step forward and say that with their hand on the Bible with no problem.
Is that what you're starting to think? You think she just,
It's really hard to say. And one of the things I found harder than anything is to get other than officers that I meet in a public setting.
Yeah.
Getting to talk to Detective Luna, who's in charge of the case, or any other people like the sergeant that's also involved with it.
Right.
I'm having a very hard time. The information's not out there, and I just wish they would share a little bit more. Kind of like, okay, the tires were popped. Why were they popped? Did they do a test to see if they were punctured by something in the road? Were they slashed? That was actually one of the first questions I had in my mind. When her vehicle was found, I'm like, wow, 2 tires? That could make sense with a driver that's not used to driving on that terrain, because it's pretty rocky out there. But why were the tires slashed? Why was the camera left behind? There's a few things.
So you're confirming here on LTL podcast, you're saying that her tires were slashed.
I cannot confirm that. No, that's the information I wanted to know. That's some of the most pivotal information I could want to know, is what punctured the tires. Were they punctured simultaneously? Were they made to look like it was disabled to throw people off for a couple days? I don't really know what to say about that. But that's one of the things I think the public should know. How were those tires popped?
Right. I mean, that's something that we're trying to figure out. Well, it seems weird to me. I can see, and I'm sure, you've thought about this too. 1 tire, but 2 on the same side, it's a little weird.
And seeing exact site, okay? The road is, big enough for one vehicle to drive comfortably in one direction. If there's a vehicle coming the other direction, you're going to have to step aside. The positioning of the vehicle, how in the middle of the road it was, is just super weird. Anybody's common sense is to, pull to the side a bit.
Right.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Have you been out to the area, this specific area? Because this is the video from that area.
Yes, I have multiple videos. I have at least 30 minutes of videos from out there.
Cool.
And at night.
And I'd like to see them.
Yes, I will. I will. Yeah, I just posted one a few hours ago online. So if you want to check that out. Yeah, and absolutely. I have several others we can go and walk through with you.
Cool.
And tell you where it was.
So in the chat there, they're asking, have you heard anything of any, in the people that you've come across, have you heard anything of mention of foul play or a kidnapping or anything like that?
Yes, and some of the locals I've talked to in Ashfork, mainly Ashfork, which is a very rundown, very small town, very eerie little town. But most of the people I've talked to are relatively friendly. And, I talked to and interviewed a few just people just to ask a little bit more about the area. They're like, "Hey, is this a place that this happens?" He's like, "Yeah, man. To be honest, all the time." And and this guy's the person I talked to is the one that gave me the information about the reservoirs. One of the mediums had mentioned a hut type thing with maybe a tin roof and some old barnwood type stuff at the base of a mountain near a reservoir. She had never heard of Chelsea's name, and the first thing she said before I showed her a picture of Chelsea a week and a half ago, she said, "Big frame glasses, prescription." And she's like, I see big. So I'm not one to disbelieve anything or discredit anybody with an ESP talent, but the way that she came out and said something like that, and the fact that she pointed down the road to other people that will, give their abilities to help without paying for it as a gift from their heart,
So I have a question here, and they're asking, how did PJ know her car was out of gas when law enforcement didn't? It's been written in the GFM. Is Elias going to delete the GoFundMe like he said he wouldn't a number of days ago on his IG?
I'm sorry. Hold on. Can you roll the window up, buddy? Sorry, I'm driving right now.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not driving, but what was the last part?
Sure. So they're asking, how did I'll go one by one. They said, how did PJ know her car was out of gas when law enforcement didn't?
Oh, who said that? I never heard about that.
Okay. And then it's saying it was written in the GoFundMe. And then it's asking, they're asking, is Elias going to delete the GoFundMe like he said he would a number of days ago on his IG?
I did that a long time ago, and I was live talking to the sister when I did it, and I apologized directly to the family, So that was something that was the second I started getting messages and stuff, I immediately got on with her sister, Sarah, and told her everything the way I know it. And she's like, honestly, PJ's a bit unstable and he can trick people sometimes, but I really don't think he's a malevolent person. I think he just has some mental issues he needs to address, truly.
So someone's saying here in the chat, the same person, they're saying the GoFundMe is still live.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I mean, if that is, I'm going to go ahead and look, but yeah, no, nobody's received any money, and that was created from my phone by PJ. So if whatever I got to do to remove that, I will. That's on IG. If someone can send me a link to a live page, I'll go shut it down. That's something I thought I already did.
Okay. What I'll do for you is I'll drop your IG if anybody, wants to send you a link or anything. I'll drop it in the chat.
Oh yeah, no, and I told anybody not to respond to that link, and I was on the I could send screenshots with the sister. I was on there trying to disable it. Like I said, I was 100%.
You said you did disable it. You said you disabled it.
I honestly thought I did, and I thought taking it down and going to my email, and if I didn't, then yeah, no, I haven't received anything from that. I thought it was disabled 100% because like I said, I was talking to the sister, and that's what I immediately tried to do. I'm not the most tech savvy person in the world.
Okay.
But
you're going to work on that. You're stating here you're going to work on that then.
Oh, yeah, dude. The second we go off this, I'll get right on that. No problem. All right. I have nothing to hide, man. Absolutely nothing to hide.
All right. So I don't know. Do you have anything else to add? What's your next plan going forward? You said you're in Sedona right now. Are you going to go back in the area and search? What's kind of your plan going forward here the next couple of days or week or so?
Honestly, some of the help that was ready and willing to come help me is my friend that owns a homestead near Williams and Valley. He's actually in South Dakota doing some beet farming for the next week. I am going to go and fly to my house in New York to go pick up my travel van and come back out here in a few days.
So you're going to
But
keep searching the area.
I'll probably be leaving the area in about 48 hours and be back within a week.
Okay.
But
Right.
one thing I would encourage people to do is to get a hold of any hunting sites or anything like that, or Cabela's stores, and just kind of spread the knowledge between the people that are actually out there just for recreation and things. That's one of the main crowd sources. So yeah, I was here in Sedona and just so happened to come across an older couple on their side by side, and they're going through those roads like tomorrow to just on a recreational thing. But the more eyes we have, out there on the back roads looking for whatever they can, the better, I believe.
Yeah, of course, man. All right, man. I'm going to let you go. Keep checking back in with me. Let me know how the progress is going. We'd like to hear some updates from you. I appreciate you taking some time and coming on the podcast, letting us know. Do you have any parting words before you go, man?
Hey, man, let's just do the best we can to find Chelsea. Also, any drone enthusiast groups I've been joining to try to get more people with maybe drones and infrared out here.
Sure.
There's a lot of people doing things for fun out here that could be in on the search. Hikers, runners, whatever. And let's do what we can. And if anybody can get more knowledge from the Coconino sheriffs or some of the private investigators working on it, that'd be awesome. And thank you for having me and giving the opportunity to tell the story I have for you.
Yeah, man. Keep in touch with me.
I will.
All right. Keep us updated.
And I do want to apologize again for any confusion with the GoFundMe thing. I was only trying to help. And if there's anything running, please send me a link and help me deactivate it. That's an honest fact.
Yeah.
I have received no money. Only support I've received is people coming out with me and giving me their time, offering their vehicles and their love and prayers for Chelsea and her family. You should ask people to report it. Thank you, man.
What was that? What did you say? Ask what?
Oh, no, that's so my friend, what'd you say?
You should ask people to report the post or the link for the GoFundMe.
Oh yeah, if anybody sees that, report it. I don't know what else to do. Like I'll get on there and figure it out, man.
All right. Yeah,
I don't know. I really thought it was out.
Yeah,
but
keep me up to date with it, man.
Yeah, 100%, dude.
All right, Elias.
Nothing to hide. Not a dime's been taken from anybody.
All right, be safe out there, man. Keep in touch with me and keep me updated.
Thank you so much. I'll hit you up with a DM after.
All right, boss. Take care.
All right, man. Have a great night. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Take care. Be safe. All right. That is Elias. We had to bring him on. His name has come up a lot in this investigation. We wanted to hear from him. And I guess we've gotten his story so far. You can make what you want to make of it. But I thought I would bring him on and let you all hear from him because we've heard his name surrounding in and around this case.